Britain is on the edge of rebellion. Across the countryside, from Cornwall to the Midlands and beyond, communities are rising up against what they are now calling Labour's war on rural England. In a shocking move, Sir Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner have unveiled an audacious plan to bulldoze through democracy, rip through the Greenbelt, and pave the way for 1.5 million new homes, regardless of what local communities think. Residents, councillors, and activists are furious, branding Labour's approach a Marxist plot, accusing the government of ignoring their voices and vowing to fight tooth and nail to protect their towns, their villages, and their way of life. The fury has already hit Cornwall like a tidal wave. In the quiet town of Bodmin, where residents have fought to protect the floodplains of Halgavore Moor, the news of Labour's plans to build 540 new houses sparked outrage. Jenny Cruz, a local councillor, didn't mince her words when asked for her thoughts. "Angela Rayner is mad if she thinks this will work," she fumed. "She hasn't got a clue about what's happening here. It doesn't align with our local plan, it's undemocratic, and frankly, it's reckless. I don't think she even knows where Cornwall is, let alone understands what we're dealing with." It's not just politicians leading the fight. Residents are in open rebellion. Retired police officer Jeff Kirk, who has spent his entire life in Bodmin, painted a devastating picture of what life will look like if these plans go ahead. "This is an absolute disgrace. I'm not saying we don't need homes, but there's a right place and a wrong place for everything. These roads are already packed to breaking point. You try getting to a GP and it's impossible. The schools are full, the police are stretched, and now they want to dump another 500 houses here? It's madness. They haven't thought this through at all." The anger in Bodmin is echoed across the nation, where residents feel betrayed, abandoned, and voiceless. Labour's new planning framework includes a particularly controversial clause, forcing local councils to identify grey belt land, areas currently within the green belt but considered lower quality, that can be removed from its protected status. These areas, critics argue, will be the first to fall under the bulldozers, and once they're gone forever. One furious activist put it bluntly, "They're treating the countryside like it's disposable. We've spent years protecting these areas. You can't just label parts of the green belt grey belt and wipe them off the map. People care about these places. Labour is destroying everything rural communities stand for, and we won't stand for it." The irony, critics say, is that Labour's ambitions may fall flat before they've even begun. A massive housing programme requires an army of construction workers, but the UK is currently facing what the government itself calls a dire shortage of skilled builders. Labour insists they're taking steps to address the issue, but sceptics aren't convinced. "It's all talk," one commentator argued. "You can't build 1.5 million houses without enough workers to lay the bricks. This entire plan will collapse under its own weight." And while Labour's housing war is igniting anger in the countryside, another battle is erupting on a national scale, and it's bringing Brexit back to centre stage. Sir Keir Starmer has come under fire for his attempts to reset relations with the European Union after a leaked Brussels document revealed plans to pressure the UK back under the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice. For Brexiteers, this is nothing short of a betrayal. Jacob Rees-Mogg, former Brexit Opportunities Minister, didn't hold back. This government is on a dangerous path. If Labour signs up to the European Court, they will surrender everything we fought for. It will devastate our sovereignty, damage our fishing industry, and open the floodgates for uncontrolled migration. Labour needs to be stopped. Rees-Mogg called on Tory leader Kemi Badenoch and Reform UK's Nigel Farage to take immediate action. Both the Tory and Reform leaders must pledge to tear up any deal that gives power back to Brussels. We need strong leadership to stop this before it's too late. Meanwhile, former Brexit Minister David Jones urged grassroots activists to take action. "Brexiteers need to mobilise now. This is Groundhog Day. We fought this battle once before, and we cannot allow a foreign court to regain control over British laws. Submitting to the European Court of Justice is a degradation of our sovereignty. It cannot happen." But not everyone believes the opposition can stop Labour. Steve Baker, a veteran of the Brexit wars, delivered a chilling assessment of the situation. "There's nothing the Conservatives, Reform or DUP can do to stop Starmer if Labour MPs fall in line. The only people who can stop this are Labour's own backbenchers. They need to ask themselves if they're willing to betray their voters." For many Leave voters, the threat feels all too familiar. The very idea of returning to European oversight is being described as a slap in the face to the millions who fought for Brexit. "We didn't vote Leave just to have Labour hand power back to Brussels," one activist warned. "This isn't over. We're ready to fight, again." As if Labour's Greenbelt crisis and Brexit backlash weren't enough, yet another storm is brewing, and this time it's coming from Britain's farmers. Labour's proposed inheritance tax reforms, particularly changes to agricultural property relief, have sparked fears of devastating consequences for generational farms. Jim McMahon, Labour's farming spokesman, attempted to calm the waters, insisting that the changes would only target the wealthiest farms. Speaking to GB News, McMahon declared, "Farmers are the backbone of this country. They keep us fed, they ensure food security, and they work harder than anyone. But we need fairness in the system." For farmers on the ground, Labour's reassurances are meaningless. One furious farmer hit back, "They have no idea what they're talking about. We work 12-hour days, 7 days a week, to keep this country running. And now they want to tax us into the ground? They're destroying our livelihoods, our families, and everything we've built. It's a betrayal." The Conservatives, sensing an opportunity, are turning up the pressure. At today's Business Property Relief Summit, Tory leader Kemi Badenoch didn't mince words. Labour's plans are the worst raid on family businesses in living memory. Farmers are already struggling. These reforms will devastate rural communities. From furious countryside residents to Brexiteers rallying for sovereignty and farmers fighting for survival, Labour now finds itself surrounded on all sides. The government's honeymoon period is well and truly over. The cracks are deepening, the backlash is growing, and the resistance is spreading. In towns like Bodmin, residents are refusing to back down. Protests are being organised, petitions are gaining signatures, and local councillors are vowing to fight Labour's plans in every way possible. "We won't let them destroy our countryside," one activist declared. "This is our land, our heritage, and our future. They're not taking it from us without a fight." From Cornwall to Westminster, the stakes couldn't be higher. Labour's attempts to push its ambitious housing plans, reset Brexit, and reform rural taxation are colliding head-on with fury, frustration, and organised resistance. Whether it's protecting the Green Belt, defending Brexit, or standing up for farmers, the message is clear. Britain's countryside is fighting back, and Labour may have underestimated its resolve. This scandal is only just beginning, and the consequences could shake the nation to its core. Will Labour listen, or will this rebellion spiral into something far greater? One thing is certain, the fight for rural Britain has begun, and it's a battle Labour cannot afford to lose.